June 5, 1948. Edwards Air Force Base, California. Captain Glenn Edwards pushes the YB-49 flying wing into a high-speed run at 18,000 feet. The aircraft is a seamless curve of metal. No fuselage, no tail, just wing. Northrop built it to prove that the future of aviation would not look like a tube with wings bolted on. 60 seconds later, the wing disintegrates in mid-air. Edwards dies instantly. The Air Force declares the flying wing too unstable for production and awards the bomber contract to Boeing's conventional B-47. The design disappears. 76 years later, a startup named JetZero is building the same aircraft, and this time, it has $1 billion, Pentagon backing, and an order from United Airlines. The question is whether a flying wing can fly safely enough, cheaply enough, and profitably enough to kill the tube and wing design that has dominated commercial aviation since the de Havilland Comet. Boeing and Airbus have spent 70 years refining that design. Their factories, supply chains, and maintenance procedures depend on it. A blended wing body requires new assembly lines, training programs, and certification rules. Tom O'Leary, JetZero's co-founder, said the breakthrough is not the aerodynamics. It is convincing the industry that the cost of change is lower than the cost of staying still. The blended wing body is not new. NASA studied it in the 1990s. Boeing built a scale model in 2007 and flew it successfully. Airbus explored the concept as Maverick. Every study concluded the design works and saves fuel. Boeing's engineers calculated a 30% reduction in drag. Airbus projected 40% fuel savings. JetZero estimates 50%. None built it due to financial risk. Boeing cannot obsolete the 737 MAX, which generates $9 billion annually. Airbus cannot strand the A320neo, which has 7,000 orders worth $300 billion. A revolutionary design only makes sense if your competitor builds it first. Every commercial aircraft flying today is a pressurized cylinder with wings. The cylinder holds cabin pressure without exploding and distributes stress evenly. But aerodynamically, it is terrible. The wings produce lift. The fuselage creates only drag. On a Boeing 787, roughly 40% of surface area produces no lift. The entire fuselage is parasitic. Airlines pay for it in fuel every second airborne. The blended wing body eliminates the tube. The entire aircraft becomes a lifting surface. Every square foot contributes to lift. The tube and wing layout became dominant not because it is efficient, but because it is safe and scalable. In 1954, de Havilland comets disintegrated from metal fatigue around square windows. A cylinder handles pressurization stress predictably. A blended wing does not. Every piece must flex as one. Stress concentrations appear in unexpected places. Northrop's YB-49 suffered from this. Modern computational tools using finite element analysis have solved it. But the FAA certifies based on test data, not simulations. No blended wing has ever carried 200 passengers. Boeing and Airbus are trapped by success. In 2019, Boeing delivered 380 737s at $50 million each. The program generated $12 billion in revenue. Then the MAX crashed twice. Boeing lost $20 billion and faced a 20-month grounding. The company survived because airlines had no alternative. Scott Kirby, United CEO, said publicly, "The industry needs a third competitor." He said this in 2021, 2 years before United signed with JetZero. That was a signal that United would fund a rival if Boeing could not deliver reliability. JetZero was founded in 2021 by Tom O'Leary, who spent 15 years at Scaled Composites, and Mark Page, a former Northrop engineer. 6 months later, the U.S. Air Force awarded a $125 million contract to develop a blended wing tanker. Production funding, not research. The Air Force wants a full-scale demonstrator flying by 2027. United Airlines joined in 2023 with a conditional order. The company has raised over $1 billion, including backing from Breakthrough Energy Ventures, Bill Gates' climate fund. This is infrastructure money. JetZero is building what the Pentagon and airlines want but cannot get from Boeing or Airbus. The Z5 is designed to carry 200 passengers over 5,000 miles, the same mission as a Boeing 737 MAX 10 or Airbus A321XLR. The cabin is wider because the fuselage blends into the wing. Passengers sit across the entire width. Engines sit on top of the wing, reducing noise and protecting from runway debris. The wing has no vertical tail. Stability comes from split ailerons at the wingtips. The landing gear retracts into the thick wing root. Everything about the Z5 answers the limitations of tube and wing design. It is a production aircraft that does not exist yet. JetZero claims the Z5 will burn 50% less fuel per seat than a 737 through reduced drag, lighter structure, and better propulsion integration. Eliminating the tube cuts frontal area by 30%. The blended shape has less wetted surface area. Engines sit in the boundary layer and ingest it, reducing drag further. Boeing's 2007 studies projected 35% fuel savings. Airbus ran similar numbers. The physics is undisputed. The challenge is manufacturing. A tube fuselage is simple. A blended wing is compound curves. Every piece is unique. Boeing's advantage is industrial scale. The company builds 42 737s per month, using 4 million parts from 600 suppliers across 30 countries. The supply chain is so integrated that a single delay grounds production. A blended wing breaks it. The fuselage sections do not fit existing transport aircraft. The tooling does not transfer. A single Z5 production line would cost JetZero $8 billion. Boeing spent $14 billion just to certify the 787. JetZero is betting modern manufacturing will cut costs in half. If wrong, the company dies. If right, Boeing's 70-year head start becomes an anchor. Boeing cannot respond quickly. The last clean sheet design was the 787, launched in 2003 and entering service in 2011. 8 years late and $28 billion over budget. Boeing outsourced composite production to inexperienced partners. Parts did not fit. The program nearly bankrupted the company. Boeing has not attempted another clean sheet since. The 737 MAX is a 1960s airframe with modern engines. A blended wing would be more complex than the 787, requiring new certification standards, pilot training, and airport infrastructure. Boeing could deliver the first aircraft in 2040. By then, JetZero will have been flying for 13 years. Airbus studied blended wings under the Maverick program and concluded they were viable, then did nothing. The A320neo was cheaper and less risky. Airbus has 7,000 A320 orders in backlog, each generating $30 million profit. Delivering them will take a decade. Starting a blended wing program means diverting engineering resources and building new factories. Airbus will not act unless United Airlines flies JetZero aircraft and takes market share. The first mover loses money. The fast follower wins. But the fast follower might not be fast enough. The real threat is not that JetZero replaces Boeing and Airbus. It is that JetZero proves the concept, and China scales it. COMAC, China's state manufacturer, already studies blended wings. The company has unlimited capital, captive customers, and no shareholders demanding quarterly profits. If JetZero demonstrates certification, manufacturing, and profitable operation, COMAC will build a copy and sell it across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. China does not invent. They wait for proof, then industrialize faster. Boeing's strategy depends on JetZero failing. If it succeeds, Boeing faces a competitor with lower costs, government backing, and proven design. Economics favor JetZero if fuel stays expensive. In 2023, fuel represented 30% of airline operating costs. A 50% fuel reduction means 15% in total costs. On a fleet of 100 aircraft flying 6,000 hours yearly, that is $300 million annually. Airlines will pay a premium. JetZero need not undercut Boeing on price. Match it and deliver lower operating costs. Break-even is around 5 years. United and the Air Force ran these numbers before signing. The military cares about fuel logistics. A tanker burning half the fuel needs half the supply chain. The 2027 flight is critical. JetZero is building a full-scale demonstrator the FAA will evaluate for certification. The Air Force will fly it. United's pilots will fly it. If it performs as predicted, orders follow. If not, the program collapses. Every month of delay helps Boeing. The longer JetZero takes, the more time Boeing has to start its own program or lobby the FAA to raise certification barriers. Suppliers wait to invest in new tooling. Airlines hold orders for 737s and A320s. The outcome is not guaranteed, but JetZero's billion-dollar funding, Pentagon backing, and airline interest mean Boeing can no longer ignore it. For 70 years, aviation advanced through incremental refinement. Engines got quieter, wings got lighter, cockpits got smarter, but the basic shape stayed the same. JetZero is betting the cost of not changing finally exceeds the cost of revolution. If they succeed, they prove the dominant design in aviation was never optimal, just safe and cheap enough to survive. Everything built on it becomes obsolete. Boeing is not worried about losing sales to JetZero. Boeing is worried about discovering its 70-year advantage in manufacturing tube and wing aircraft is worthless in a world that no longer builds tubes and wings. The question is whether Boeing and Airbus can afford to build one before someone else does.